Okay. Kind of forgot to say in the first video. When you go to debriefing, your recruiter, if you're riding a shuttle, is gonna have to give you a pass. So you can ride a shuttle to and from, and you're gonna have to run a pass. Anyway, when we got to MEPS, the first thing we did, freezing cold, get off the bus. This is in January. Get off the bus, and everybody walks to the door. Wishing everybody luck. And we walk up to the door, and eventually one of the soldiers come out, the army man come out. It's like, okay, a little bit more rough sounding than I am, but okay. Anybody shipping, come to the front. Anybody shipping, come to the front. So nobody was really shipping that day. And then they say all Army and Army Reserves form a line to the side. And so they all move to that side. And everybody else is on the other end, and pretty much each liaison comes out. The Army, the Marines, the Coast Guard, uh, the Navy, but there was no Navy people actually there. There was like one person. That's for later. And the Air Force, and she comes out and she tells us, I don't take my word for this now. It might be different considering the fact they were short one person and they were kind of in a rush. We were already kind of late. She tells us she needs our photo ID, our social security, our high school diploma, and our birth certificate. That's something we all already had, but it was the original documents, the source documents, and they needed to be in the package, I assume. So even though our packs were already sealed, we had to unseal them. We with my driver's license, drop them in, and hand them to her. She walked inside with it. Like, if you have any metal, please take it out. She walks back in. She's like, I'll be back with you guys in a moment. And this was Sergeant Todd. She went in there. She said, go to the Met Space Man. You can see Sergeant Todd and Sergeant Freeman. Say what's up, but be respectful. And she went in. Now the Army man is like, if anybody has a cell phone, get rid of it now. Now, we're South Florida folks. The first thing that come out my mouth is, what do you want us to do? Throw in the damn bushes? Come on. But that once again, remember what I told you from previous videos. Each branch has different rules. Our recruit already told us if we have cell phones, turn them off and give them to the liaison. They will hold it in the office for us. So I guess most of the Army people didn't have it, or they gave it to someone from another branch to hold on to because their branch would not allow it. That's how we worked that out. And we basically formed a line and went through the metal detector. And once you go through the metal detector, even if it doesn't go out, they pass the little bar all around your body. And we all went to the control desk, which was to me. I can't describe how it was really, but we went to the control desk. And once we went to the control desk, we checked in, and we told them our last name, and they gave us something. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it was. I do realize there's a need for privacy for a lot of these things, but it's an identification with your name and some information on it, so they always know who you are. And you sit down, you wait, and then they'll call you out by your last name, and they will ask you if it's your first time there, and they already know what you're there for. They take your picture, they fingerprint you, so they always can keep track of where you are. And then you sit down and you get a lecture about not wandering around and paying attention because they need to always know where you're at. And we went from there, and one by one, we're called to get our medical folder, and we went upstairs to the medical center, and we would give our folder. You go to the control desk, the turret up there, and then you walk in, and you don't sit down. They will tell you where to sit, and they check your blood pressure, and they'll have a whatever organized way for you guys to move around for them to check your blood pressure. And there'll be one person who's taking on the blood pressure who is also going back and not looking but asking you what your original hair color is and what your original eye color is, your natural color, right? And then once they're done, there'll be someone else at a separate computer who will be looking at your picture and looking at you, and going back up to ask you, and they're gonna ask you the same questions. I'm sure your recruiter will tell you Same, I'm not going to say asinine because it's impertinent information. Same questions that you asked in your application over and over again. Now, I've been told, not necessarily by recruiters, but by many people, that MEPS' purpose is to disqualify you. So, if you know you have something disqualifying, please don't waste your time. They go up, they'll ask you, have you had childhood asthma? Have you had this? Have you had that? And this is going to be in front of everybody else. The first thing you have to do before they even ask you questions is ask for your social security number. This is when, if you have had an issue, that you present them with the necessary paperwork, the discharge papers, etc. If you have had anything, you need to have even a damn receipt in the hospital, everything possible, every little piece of documentation to show them that it's been resolved and it's been settled. There's certain things that can disqualify you. That was the point that a lot of people got disqualified. Now, as I told you, everybody wasn't there for a test, so everybody that was testing had already checked in before us, and they stayed downstairs, and they went to a separate room, tested, and waited on us for the rest of the day. One guy, he was already enlisted, already in, and he wanted to re-enlist, but he needed to take a physical, and they told him all he could drink was coffee and water, because when they took a urine sample, they would run a diabetes test on him, and he had coffee with milk and sugar in it. And he got sent home and was told to come back the next day, and they refused to do anything else on him if they could not start the physical from that point. They weren't going to do it half and half. They needed everything done that one day. Someone else, I'm really not sure what he got disqualified for, but he got disqualified from that point right there, and he was told to wait downstairs for the rest of us. Once they get all of that information, you leave and you go to a separate area to wait to get your hearing tested, where they pretty much sit you in a small room. It's a very large machine, and put some earphones in your head, and they will play some beeps. And like, these earphones are superb. Like, you can hear your own heartbeat, your breath, and the cord rubbing against you. That's why they tell you to sit down. It's like a stool. You face the wall and keep your feet flat on the ground. Do not move, because it will affect what you hear. And there may or may not be other people in there. I was alone with one other person, so it didn't really affect my hearing until he got up and left, and I pretty much was kind of distracted. And they'll test your hearing. They'll be playing a series of beeps, and each ear, maybe it'll be all the beeps in one ear and all the beeps in the other, or back and forth, and they will test to see what you can hear. After that, like, you can't have any earrings on. If you do have them, take them out, if you didn't take it out through the metal detector. And they'll hold on to your glasses too if you have them, and then they'll give it back to you, and you go wait again to go get your vision tested. And if you've ever been to optometrist, it's pretty much the same process. You go in, and they open. If you have glasses, they're not going to tell you to take them off. They're going to open the book for you, because whether you have glasses or not, you still will be able to see. They'll open the book for you, and all the little colors will have numbers and dots around it. The same way, they'll see if you can tell the difference, go through all of that. Then they'll put your eyes to the machine with the glasses on there, to the machine for you to read the numbers, and they'll ask you which line can you read, and to read it out loud, right? And they'll do all of that. Then they'll tell you to take your glasses off and do the same thing. Read the line, whichever line you can see. And then they'll have you move to the other machine. They don't have the machine that, blows the air into your eye. They're not going to do that. They didn't do that. That would have been a whole nother 30 minutes. And then they take you to the other little machine that shows you like a picture of a house or whatever. It'll be something in the distance, and it'll be adjusting, which is checking the focus of your eyes. I have a defective refractory lens in my eyes. That's the only thing that was wrong with me. And then they're going to sit you down to that machine and basically look into the eyes and have you read the numbers again in each eye. They're going to be flipping it around, tell you, ask you which is clear, which is not. And pretty much they're going to say, okay, yeah, that's it. Now this video is getting kind of tedious and long, so I'm going to stop it right here, and then I'm going to tell you next about the actual physical, where they have you do the duck walk, etc. And depending on how long that video is, then I'll tell you about the urine test, the blood test, etc., the phases, and the swearing. I'm going to try to keep those videos short.